morning, Sam. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Sam.
Happy Wednesday. Hope the week is treating you all well so far. Clearly, Harry's not having a good time. But hello, hello, hello. We're pop up here. Wrong. We have heat. It's been hot. Um so I might be a little inclined between a heat and a general lack of energy today to keep today's a little bit shorter. Um, but being a shorter game anyway, that'll just mean there's a little more substance on Friday if we don't get very into it today. Not the worst. As far as the forecast was showing, the last I looked at it, tomorrow should be the last day that's kind of this warm. I know it's not like exceptionally hot yet, but it's been like pretty consistently 25, 26 degrees Celsius. Here, um, considering there were like frost warnings in the mornings like a week or two ago, it's a pretty dramatic jump. So, um, today is also kind of the first day of our season where I can feel the humidity gathering in the air. So, not for right now. Not that one right now. That's okay. Yeah, so brain's a little funky. I mean, what else is new, right? Um, sleep's been spotty. That is quite literally, yeah. That is where that song came from. That same game.
Good morning, Sam.
Should do those greetings. Let me do those greetings before we get too deep into things, because I'll start forgetting. Brain fog has been exceptional, I guess, is kind of where the ramblings were headed. Been having a very hard time focusing the last few days, so just bear with me a little bit. We're gonna stumble our way through this. It'll be okay. Good morning, Rose Tower. Good morning, Cal. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Tupper. Good morning, Water. Yeah, bear. Bear with me. I'm also gonna open a can here, so, you know, the warning about that if it's something you don't like. Crisp little. There you go. Not hearing music? It is lower. But it's showing on my OBS, so there should be sound. Might just be quiet. It was a very quiet part of the song. Um, oh, that's extra weird. Just stuck. Stream stuck. Ba, 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 ba. One sec. Wanted to address briefly the cheeky little Nintendo Direct. So I know it's like I don't really do Nintendo stuff here. Um, but they are one that we tend to quite like in this household. As far as publishers go, we tend to enjoy their catalogs, so fell into a backrooms bunny hole, musta, huh? It tried to swallow you up for a sec. I'm just looking for, I saw a really good, there it is. There's an image that had like all the not quite announcement. I mean, I guess they were all technically announcements, but like all the titles discussed for the direct. It's pretty on par with the rest of the showcases that have been happening so far. There isn't really anything in particular that I'm like waiting for or hoping for outside of the Silent Hill stuff, obviously. So mostly I was just along for the ride. So I didn't really have any like super positive or super negative opinions of what got showcased. I was just like, this is neat, this is fun. I just enjoy watching. So my takeaways were mostly this particular direct felt very like uh well, for one, Capcom was kind of showcasing that they are more or less all in on porting stuff to Nintendo at this point. Because there were some larger Capcom titles that are getting Switch 2 ports. Um, I was a little not surprised by, but like would not have anticipated at all. Um, like the Switch is getting Dragon's Dogma 2, which I thought was like was that one not a little bit of like a technical showcase? So I would have anticipated it was just a little too strenuous to run on a Nintendo console, but like, Capcom's doing whatever Capcom does, and they must have figured it out. They've also got the new Onimusha porting to Switch 2. Like, just those are some large titles that Capcom's just like, yeah, they're gonna be on Switch now. So I'm like, okay. Um, oh, and Devil May Cry 5, which is a little less surprising because it's a slightly older game at this point, but still, like, you know. Were there any? There's not. Yeah, there's not really that much that I'm like super excited for. Um, I love the Splatoon series, so it was cool to see um some gameplay for the spin-off that's coming up. Um, for those who aren't in the know, the first three well, I guess the three Splatoon games that exist are they were built on the concept of being a little multiplayer PvP game where you're basically just coloring an arena, your team's color, and whoever has the most ground covered in their color at the end of the round wins, right? So it's just fighting for territory back and forth. That was the defining concept between like behind the entire franchise. Um, but when the first Splatoon launched, everyone was like a little bit taken aback by the fact that it also came with a really impressively comprehensive campaign mode. um, Despite the core game being about that PvP experience, they had great single player game modes. All three of them have like a really solid campaign at their core as well. And now they're doing a little spin-off that leans into that single player. Because the spin-off isn't, as far as I know, it's not a multiplayer game at all. It's just like a single player campaign. But it's leaning more into that like the cheeky little action puzzle platformer thing that the Splatoon campaigns had, but infusing it with what seemed like a little bit of an RPG element, which I thought was interesting and neat. So I was excited to see a little bit more of that. I'm excited about Orbitals It's also a little cheeky puzzle platformer that has like a retro anime aesthetic. But it's also being built as like it's a co-op, like a couch co-op game. So I'm excited to sit down and play that with Tupper when it launches eventually. And then there was they I almost laughed because they literally did not show anything new. Um, but From Software's next game got a little bit of a showing during the direct as well, where they basically had like a super brief smash cut of footage from the previous, like the announcement trailer. And then they rolled into the title card that had nothing. There was no date, there was no information, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. A trailer that's basically just like, hey, do you remember this one? It's still coming. But after the title card, they announced that they're going to be running a network test at some point in the summer. So a little more excited about that than just, hey, this game does still exist. It's going to come out eventually. Meant to ask about your bloods. Yeah. My bloods. Don't worry about it. I keep them in a little organized file. No, I am excited about that game. So again, for those who aren't in the know, I do have a little bit of a soft spot for From Software. I love the Dark Souls games, even though they're not my favorite to play. I do have a deep love of their worlds and lore. But one of my all-time favorite games is Bloodborne. Sony's PS4 exclusive From Software darling that is stuck in an awkward limbo. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I got excited about the Duskbloods because it's the first thing they've released since Bloodborne that kind of has a similar aesthetic to Bloodborne. A lot of people were joking that it's Bloodborne 2. The reason I'm curious about it more than excited about it is because it's not a traditional From Software action RPG at all. It's a little bit more of an online PvP experience. I need to look at it again. I couldn't tell if it was leaning more into like a micro battle royale format or if it was trying to be a little bit more of like an extraction style game. I don't know if they've really explained it quite yet. More of a Night Rain thing, kinda, yeah. Definitely focused on shorter burst style like rounds. You go into like a session. You do a run. You're not pushing through a campaign. Naturally, I, like most people, probably want another From Software campaign title. But I don't hate PvP. And I like From Software enough. And I'm drawn to the aesthetic of that like gothic horror presentation that I really want to get into Duskbloods and try it before I form any final judgment. I think it has the legs to be a fun title, especially with how much Night Rain has started to really build its own fan base. Obviously, there is overlap, but Elden Ring fans are not necessarily Night Rain fans, and vice versa. So, how could you keep this a secret? I'm so sorry, Tupper. I guess it just never came up. It's not something you just like casually announce at the dinner table, The timing's got to be right. um, Other than that, yeah, there wasn't like necessarily anything that I was super hype about. I think the new Rhythm Heaven, or I guess Rhythm Paradise, the new Rhythm Heaven looks cute. Um, Lies of P is getting a port. That doesn't really matter because I was graciously gifted a copy on Steam, so I'll just play it on Steam. It's one that, honestly, like Lies of P also leans into that kind of gothic horror aesthetic a little bit. Um, so I've been debating if that's enough that I can get away with playing it on stream as a horror game. But we'll cross that bridge. We'll see where my head's at with it. I know we currently have a lot of plans, so um, the one that made me laugh a little bit was Stellar Blade is getting a port. Um, the super flashy, almost spectacle fighter action RPG that kind of immediately became infamous for its highly detailed jiggle physics. Um, I haven't really followed that game since it released, so I don't know what the actual fan opinion is. Gooner Blade, yeah. I don't know what the actual fan opinion is on the game overall. I know my brother played it and he said it was overall fun. Said he liked the game, but it wasn't as like it didn't feel as good to play as some other action RPGs on the market, if I'm recalling correct. Um, I don't know. I like a good flashy uh, action RPG, so I've always been loosely curious about it. So that might be one that I don't know. Depending on price, I guess that might be one I end up getting. Uh, Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. I think that's the first trailer since the actual announcement of the game. Hilarious that it got a follow up trailer in a Nintendo Direct instead of the State of Play. But hey, what can you do, right? Um, I don't know. Overall, it seemed like it was a solid showing. There are things that I think I would like to play, but nothing that I'm necessarily desperate to spend money on immediately. You know, that kind of vibe. And like all the showcases have been that way so far. There's not really anything that I'm immediately desperate to spend money on. Except for the release date for Townfall that we got with the State of Play. That one I immediately pre-ordered because, of course, I did. But no, there was a singular thing that did piss me off. Um, but as much as it pissed me off, it also did not surprise me. Because it's Square Enix. Uh, they are a AAA publisher that has some of the most incredibly passionate, devoted, skilled, and talented developers under their belt. But as far as their leadership goes, they are like a complete dogshit company. Absolutely abysmal management. Some of the most dumbass dipshits in the entire gaming industry run Square Enix. And they're once again releasing a Kingdom Hearts collection because that's not surprising. Port all the Kingdom Hearts to Switch too. But they fucking AI generated the cover art for it. You have you have Tetsuya Nomura, one of the most well-renowned gaming concept artists literally in the market right now, working in your studios. Quite literally, the man who defined the entire aesthetic of Kingdom Hearts just works for you. He's at your disposal. Just for fun, he will go online and post Kingdom Hearts art that he just drew up because he felt like it. In the middle of nothing happening, Kingdom Hearts wise, he'll just drop fan art because he likes it. And instead of paying him to draw your cover for your new Kingdom Hearts collection, you bastardized his artwork by pumping it into a shit machine. I just like, they have some of the most incredible games and most skilled developers. How can they be so fucking stupid so consistently? So consistently. Like at this point, I'm convinced the people calling the shots at Square Enix have their heads so far up their ass they can see the sun. Like, anyway. Beyond that, most of the showings were really nice. So, just don't buy the Kingdom Hearts collection, I guess. Um, Beyond that, I know there have been other showings since we were live last, but I don't really. Um, Seeing ahead, yeah, just their own head. Oh God. Um, I thought there was more I wanted to talk about, but I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of it. No, I know we're gonna be a little stumbly today. Um, 'Cause I kept the whole day at work, I kept realizing that I had like zoned out for an uncomfortable amount of time. And I knew I was in danger at that point. I was like, this is, my head is not here today. I cannot keep myself within my own mind. It's just not happening. The chains have shattered and I'm floating away. I've been trying to. I've been trying to find other potential titles to fill in the month with. Because I don't think we're gonna have enough to get us all the way to the end of June. And like it's fine if we have to just move on to our next endeavors. Um but it would be nice to dedicate the whole of June to queer horror games. I'm just not like it's shocker. It's not easy to find queer horror games online that like are actually genuinely queer and horror simultaneously. Implied sapphic relationship. Letter lost. I can look into that. But basically, my worry is that we will finish 2 of our 4 games this week, which would mean that we probably finish our 4th game next week. But ideally, where I'm still kind of coughing a little bit, um, I want to delay Sorry We're Closed if possible, just so that my throat is recovered enough for it. Did. Yes, you did play the demo. Okay, I was like, this looks very familiar, actually. I was about to ask you, Rose, if this was the one that you played. Yeah, I can keep that in mind. I can look at that one. No, obviously, it's very easy to find games that have an LGBT tag, and it's very easy to find games that have a horror tag. It's significantly harder to find games that have both. Partly because most of the results on Steam, when you narrow it down to those two tags, end up being fetish games. And for obvious reasons, that is not what we're looking for, and also can't stream those. So, you know, uh, that's been the challenge. Or third option, they're visual novels, which would have a similar problem to Sorry We're Closed, in that I would have to do a lot of voice work that I'm not really currently prepared to do. I feel like the dialogue density in Sorry We're Closed already teeters close enough to a visual novel that it would be a little difficult to just like hit visual novel, visual novel, visual novel, Sorry We're Closed, you know? I don't think I'd be able to speak anymore. As much as I've gotten better at preserving my throat and voice while speaking for long periods of time through streaming, that hits a degree I'm not quite prepared for. So, oh yeah, the siren. Yeah, I do remember that now. I do remember that now. Yeah, I was seeing that. It's got its little the 10% introductory offer. I'll keep it in mind and see where we're at toward the end of this week. Mm. Open the window? Yeah, I can probably do that. No, that is the fortunate thing about getting like a micro heat wave this early into our season, is that the nights are still cool because we haven't hit the humid season yet. So the temperature can actually dissipate once the sun is gone. We're going to get to a point soon where that is no longer the case. So, honestly, I don't know how you keep track of so many releases in general, Rose. You have so many going on. I'm blown away that you can keep anything organized to any capacity. I lose track of the games that I'm like dedicatedly following, let alone 50 demos and when they may or may not release. Oh yeah, you keep mentioning the calendar. I don't even know where that is. I'm gonna be real. I don't even know where to see that. Uh, that's fine. Makes it worse. Yeah. Yeah. Smaller version on the front page under recommendations. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I just ignored it because it's comprised entirely of games that I'm not actually following. I didn't realize that's what it was. What is it personalized for? I assume I have to like tailor it because it's showing me a lot of games I honestly haven't even heard of. I would presume that it's just making assumptions about what I might be interested in based on games that I have in my library right now. It seems like it's a little bit the vibe. I can peek at that at some point later. See what I can uh you know see what I can make of it. Also a shocking amount of gaps. Mm. Oh, there's a no, no man. Thought's gone. Thought's gone. Brain died. Oh, there's just so many games. I have genuinely stopped trying to keep track of anything personally. It would be a good idea to start keeping a micro calendar. Oh yeah. Yeah. Entirely too many demos. I'm always impressed by people who can scour through demos. I feel like my personal gaming is so mood driven. And I have so many games already that I am like actively trying to work through. I kind of have these mental blocks, whether I like it or not, where like if I'm trying to play something I've got that voice nagging in the back of my brain that's just like, you've got this other thing that you've been working on. You should finish that before you get into this. What are you doing? You should be playing that other game. You need to finish that other game before you move on to this. And I feel like that would just be like tenfold if I was distracting myself with demos. Next fest is very soon. I do like seeing all of the things. I think another little mental block for me is that I also like going into most of my games without knowing stuff. And a demo would teach me too much. Stopped listening to that voice a long time ago. The thing is, I've only just found that voice because I used to just pick up and play whatever, and I would never finish anything. Like the number of games that I had actually played through to credits prior to like really getting into streaming and stuff was comedically low. I did not finish things, period. It wasn't something that was in the cards. I know it doesn't help that most of what I was playing prior to that was like, well, I played a lot of Destiny 2, which was a game that didn't technically have an end. So I would just spend my time playing a game that went on infinitely. It really didn't help. So, full of started projects. Yeah. I I'm sure I would be the same if I was a crafter. Hello, Samu. Yeehaw. I don't know. It's hard, right? It's difficult to commit yourself to seeing something through. And I think that's part of why I emphasized learning to listen to that voice and why it's so difficult for me to ignore it now. So I don't want to just have a pile of incomplete games. I'd like to check off some of the list from time to time. Actually finish stuff. It is satisfying. Like when you sit back and have that, when the finality presents itself, there's an innate satisfaction, right? God, at this point, I would be a little. I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry, the song is what derailed my thought just now. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get another transmission before the release of Townfall. It wouldn't surprise me. I really hope. I really hope we get like we haven't gotten one yet, so I'm hoping like toward the end of the summer we get a little showcase with just like a micro glimpse at what comes next, right? Because we know that the Silent Hill 1 remake is probably next September. September, October. We're getting Townfall this September. Next September, probably remake. Because the timeline makes sense. But what then? To remake remastered. It was my pipe dream that at least some of the Silent Hills would see Switch 2 ports. That was kind of my deep dark dream for the Nintendo Direct. I didn't expect it. Like, I knew that there was an almost zero chance of it happening, but I was like, but what if? But like, what if? Wouldn't that be like. So that would kind of arguably be a remaster of the remake, being that they would have to aggressively optimize it to make it run. If they remade 3, it's almost guaranteed. Bloober remade 2 and are now actively remaking 1. Would be I would be more surprised if they don't remake 3. We just won't hear about it until after 1 releases. But I would honestly be shocked if it's not already in the project pipeline. Some cute curveballs. It was more of a joke made earlier about Skyrim. That's fair. Yeah, that is. When is the next Skyrim announcement? Honestly. At the rate they tend to come, it's only a matter of time. One of these nice surprises. Yeah. I was hopeful that with the Townfall release date announcement, they would be like, hey, it's also coming to Switch too. But no. That
45, can you believe it? It's 45. I was here 45 times, maybe even more. Wow,
maybe
crazy.
even
wow.
more. Just maybe. Possibly, perhaps. That is a big number, though. 45 is a lot. Trying to even remember. Like, what could I have possibly done in 45 streams? That's so much time. Well, I'll tell you, like, it was like at least 20 of those. Yeah, roads. How many streams was that actually? Hang on. How many parts do I have in my Death Stranding 2 playlist? I didn't even talk about the fucking Ocarina remake. That's a thing that's happening. Oh geez, 20. Yeah, it had 25 streams. There are 25 videos in my Death Stranding 2 playlist. That's a lot. That's a lot of Death Stranding 2. Listen, I think it'll be fine. My big thing with it is, in my personal opinion, with remakes, it has to do more to justify its existence in a world where Ocarina of Time is already playable on the Switch 2. But that's just my take on remakes in general. Right? It has nothing to do with the fact that it's Zelda. I'm just of the mindset that a remake needs to justify its existence. Right? Like, I'm all about the Silent Hill 2 remake. And I'm all about the Resident Evil remakes because they're fundamentally new games. So you have the old game and you have the new game. They can both be played pretty much the same places in the modern era. And they both present completely different experiences despite telling generally the same story. That's justifiable to me. Exactly. Need to give us more than just being pretty. And that's like, even though I remember seeing a lot of people praise it, that's the same reason that I didn't really, like, I didn't buy into the Snake Eater remake. Because I have a way to play Snake Eater. And also, if I didn't, it's part of the Master Collection. So on modern hardware, I can play classic Snake Eater. And Delta was made to be incredibly faithful to the original. So I'm not the market for that remake. It doesn't fully justify its existence, in my opinion. A lot of people love it. They're happy with it. It's a game for them. That's fine. But for me to buy into a remake, it needs to really shake things up. And considering how long it's been since the release of Ocarina of Time, it has the potential to really shake things up. But we'll see. Can't see Nintendo letting a title. No, exactly. And it was discussed a little bit in Amy's stream that it's being handled by what are they, Monolith Soft, who has a really good history of aiding in the development of Nintendo titles. One sec. I'm just pulling them up. I want to make sure I'm talking about the right people. Yes, I am. So they're the developers who make the Xenoblade games. They have a long history of being support developers for Nintendo titles, dating all the way back to the Wii. They have co-developed Smash Bros. Brawl, Skyward Sword, Animal Crossing New Leaf, Pikmin 3, A Link Between Worlds, Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, Happy Home Designer, Breath of the Wild, New Horizons, Tears of the Kingdom. Like, they have a very long history of helping Nintendo develop some of their major titles. And they are helping develop the remake. So it's in capable hands. It is still, in my mind, just a matter of needing to do enough to justify existing in a world where we can play Ocarina of Time on the modern hardware that it's being developed for. And also, we had a remake. We had a very faithful remake of Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. That one was kind of just a prettier game. And it was largely the same thing otherwise. It's like, we don't need another one of those. We really don't need another one of those. But no, yeah, they are very skilled and established developers. So I'm not worried about it in that front. Ads. Ads. Now, the only other game that they have a supporting credit on that isn't a Nintendo game is, of all things, Dirge of Cerberus, the Final Fantasy VII third-person shooter spin-off. featuring Vincent for the PS2. So they have that as their first co-developer credit, and then the rest are all Nintendo. But I'm pretty sure they are technically like a Nintendo subsidiary at this point. Because they haven't released anything on a non-Nintendo system since Xenosaga 3 in 2006. And technically, I guess Dirge Cerberus was also 2006. They haven't released anything on a non-Nintendo platform since 2006, from what I'm seeing. So, all of their first-party, like, in-house titles were published by Nintendo, with very seldom exception. And they co-develop Nintendo games. So, nope, not me. No, exactly. No, never. Who could possibly? I really want to play Dirge Cerberus, actually. It looks like a lot of fun. I know it's got very mixed reception. Ads, God, my ad manager in my OBS is out of sync with the actual ads rolling in because it said I had 50 seconds left before the ads hit, and they're here. So what's going on? While they're rolling, I'm just gonna get up real quick and open that window. I promise we will get into the game once done. One sec. Don't quite yet. I'm sure it's fine. It's only gonna cool off. I don't think the breeze is even coming in at an angle where it matters anyway. Um, it didn't feel like hot or cool air was coming in the window. So it won't really make a difference one way or the other at this exact moment. But having it open means there's the potential for cool air to come in. So it'll be fine. Sorry, I missed this one from KJ. With games that are remastered by Night Dive. One thing I will say, are they remaking or just remastering? Because I'm fine with remasters where they're just bringing forward like a fresh coat of paint and porting the game to a new system. I think that's fine because that keeps it accessible for people who might not have a way to play the older version. It's the from the ground remakes that just do the same thing again that bother me. Usually remasters bring they bring a fresh coat of paint and they bring some quality of life as well as like a handful of new features now and again. That's fine. Whatever. A remaster is a port forward and a port forward is game preservation. I'm okay with that. But a remake can get dicey if they're not doing a lot to justify the existence of a remake. But I am largely unfamiliar with Night Dive. Yeah, see, this first paragraph, they seem fine in my book based on this. They're a subsidiary of Atari. That's fine, whatever. The company is known for obtaining rights to abandonware video games, updating them for compatibility with modern platforms, and re-releasing them via digital distribution services, supporting preservation of older games. That, I'm cool with that. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. That's kind of similar to what GOG is doing with their good old games preservation program too. It's the only thing with GOG is that it's PC. So you don't see most of those get ported onto console, which is still how a lot of people play games. I love what GOG does. It's just lacking that teeny tiny little last step to push it forward so that the wider market has access. But I know distribution is complicated, and I don't know the inner workings of how the rights to it all work, so I can't just sit here and be like, why aren't you porting it to consoles too, GOG? It's not that it's not that easy. They are fundamentally a PC based platform themselves, so it doesn't make as much sense for them to go out of their way to distribute elsewhere when they have a distribution platform on PC, you know? But I would like to see that shit go everywhere. And that is my bias as someone who has a lot of history at this point, declaring that I prefer console gaming. So, you know, it always it feels better to me when games are ported to consoles versus living exclusively on PC. Anyway. Let me get this game open. I'm probably gonna have to faff about with it for a minute. Because I have not launched this game before. It's a return to form. We're opening a PC game for the first time to play on stream, and I haven't gone in beforehand to make sure everything's functioning. So we're back, baby. We're so back. Zero pre-preparation. All right, it launched okay. Just want to get into the menu and make sure I've got all my settings dialed. Except I can't see a cursor. Does this play with a controller? Would you consider it more of a mouse and keyboard or a controller game? I'm getting a photosensitivity warning. It is a horror game, unfortunately. That is typically par for the course. You played with keyboard? Okay. It's presenting me with, hang on. Let me sprint in here and get game capture going like immediately, because it's just going. It's, hey, look, it's capturing. We're in. Pause that. Game. There's just a little bit of creaking and crickets right now. Can you hear it? I imagine it's very quiet, but it is quiet. So hey, okay, no, we're good. So we are just navigating. I can't see a cursor, but that's clearly by design. Half volume. Look at that. We're gonna make the subtitles medium. This is a really interesting menu. I will play with it a little bit before we get in then. Because again, this is like the quiet part. It's just crickets and a little bit of creaking. I mean, if that's by detection. We will try this for now. Actually, what are the recommended specs on this game before I... Okay, since we're streaming, I probably will turn them down a little bit because my parts... we'll just run with how it opened. And if it immediately presents a problem, I will lower things. It seems fine in the menu, and that's usually a tell, kind of right from the start. Dialogue can be very quiet compared to combat. Okay. I wonder if some of that... Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. I'll just keep an eye on it. We can adjust everything as we go. It's okay. I'm looking at my mixer right now. That's my big thing. Game is just quiet. Hang on. I turn it up in OBS first. Because I can always turn it back down if things get loud. I need to get to work. But what if we just like... What if we just eat? You know? Just sit here and raid the fridge instead of eating. Or eating? Instead of, you know, it's fine. Not seen this. It is, what do you wouldn't know off the top of your head the latest version you played, would you? Because I know when I was watching you play, it was like day one. But it is currently... It was literally updated the 1st of June to version 1.2.4. So if you haven't played it recently, there is potential that much has been updated. I also do apologize. Here, hang on. Actually, I'm going to do a pin really quick. Sure, that'll do. Gotta do the sleep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know how much of this we'll get into today. Make a banger song. Yeah. We're gonna hit up the old Silent Hill 1 and just like take a frying pan to a washing machine or something. Literal actual banger song. No, I don't know how far we'll get today. I don't imagine it'll be super far, so there'll be plenty to see on Friday. Have a good night. Sleep well. We'll see you next time. Somewhere. We'll see you somewhere, I'm sure. Okay, we're back. Somewhere, you know, across the ether, where our paths always align. Somewhere. Hello. My name is Connor Rush, and I'm the creator of Project Songbird. Including small projects I've done outside of standalone games, this is the 7th video game I've released. Before we start the game, I want to make sure everything is just how you want it. I really want this to be perfect for you. I do believe I am ready to start, and I am streaming it, so it is not all about me this time. But hey, I appreciate it. Great, let's start. Image on the left is barely visible. Right in the middle, you've already nailed it. And you can kinda, yeah, you can see it a little more. I forgot the filter's still up there, so y'all see it better than I do. Game is primarily presented. Oh yeah. No, I'll use the artistic by design choice. Keep in mind, the game was designed around a widescreen presentation. If you disable it, some things may feel oddly placed. Yes, that's fair. We're doing it. By default experience. I already turned the subtitles on, so we'll keep those on. I think that's everything for now. Remember, you can change these and numerous other settings from the settings menu at any time. I'd really like to thank you for taking the time to play Project Songbird. It means a lot more than you think. I have a rough, very rough idea. Just want to take a moment to say thank you for deciding to check out Project Songbird. This is a game project I started developing during my sophomore year of university as a way to express and work through some difficult feelings I was having with regard to my identity and place in life. Developing this throughout school, as well as my first post-grad job, was by no means a walk in the park, but this game is nothing if not a labor of love and a deeply personal passion project. Never did I anticipate that Project Songbird would reach the scope that it has, and I can't thank everyone enough who's helped along the way, contributing toward making this game a reality. I sincerely hope that you, the player, can take something away from your time with Project Songbird. I would love for it to be able to help someone else as much as it's helped me. Thank you. The following game contains discussions and portrayals of certain topics that many players may find disturbing. If you have reason to believe that you may be sensitive to certain subjects presented in this game, please select more information below to read further details about the game's materials. Some descriptions may contain mild spoilers for the game's story. Once you feel ready, select the continue button to proceed. Because we are streaming it, I do think, as a courtesy, it's probably best we take a quick gander. I mean, all of that's about what I expected. I'm gonna be real with you. You present to me a deeply personal horror game, and I think all of these and more tick the box of expectation. So we can click more into those to get a little more detail as to what they pertain. Oh my goodness. Brief pause. Hello, Amy. Hello, everybody. Well, we were actually just presented a very wonderful gift today from Tupper's parents. Authentic Montreal cheese curds. So you can scream at those probably. But I don't know if Tupper will share them. So screaming is probably about as much as you can get. authentic cheese curds for an authentic Canadian poutine. But you can't eat it. Yes, welcome in. I assume you just kept playing Xenoblade. That's what was going on the last I checked in. I assume that was everything. The whole stream was indulging in a freshly updated Xenoblade. It was indeed perfect. I hope it was a lovely, wonderful experience. We did very briefly, well, I say very briefly, we yapped for about an hour at the start of stream. We kind of discussed very loosely my take on the Nintendo Direct. Mostly my opinion was just it fell in line with the rest of the showcases so far, where there's not really anything in particular I'm looking for. So they've all just kind of been fun to watch. I'm not really like super stoked by anything I've seen all week, but I'm also not disappointed by anything necessarily. Not largely. So the fact that people have stuff that has been presented in any of the showcases that they're excited about just brings me a secondhand joy. I like seeing people excited about the things they like, so one of my favorite areas. Very happy to be there. Didn't spend as long as I want. That's fair. Distracted by carts and butts. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Before I get too sidetracked, let me do the spiel. Because I am experiencing immense brain fog so far this week, so I will get sidetracked and forget to do the spiel. Anyone coming across, if you have not met me before, you can call me Dusk. I use they, them pronouns, and I am primarily a horror streamer. So if you have a difficult time, actually perfect timing because we're looking at the content warning screen of the game that we're about to get into. If you have a hard time with horror, know that that is most of what you will get here. So I understand if you take that as your cue to run away. No offense will be taken. But if you are curious about horror but struggle to play it yourself, that is kind of the whole reason I'm here doing what I do. I love horror. I have zero difficulty playing horror. And generally, I have a relatively calm demeanor when presented with said horror. So I try to make it a comfortable place for people to experience the stories in horror games that they might not be able to play for themselves. That's the gist. But of course, Amy, yourself, I know it is late, but anyone coming across as well, if you do need to raid and run, I also fully understand. But even if you do intend to stick around and hang out, if you've been vibing with Amy over there for a little bit, I would advise taking a small break at the very least, because self-care is fucking important. So do a little stretch. Make sure you got drinks, snacks. I'll be here. I'll be here for at the very least another hour and a half. So I commit to 3 hours minimum. It's rarely the minimum that we end up staying for. So 25 to exactly. Oh, I know. Only just realized, hey, that's a good problem to have when it comes to playing a game. If it can distract you long enough that you lose track of what time it is, we love it. That's good shit. Has a new updo. Let's go. That's fun. One of only 2 updos. No, that's so fun. Yes, for anyone coming in, I'll give you a brief rundown of kind of what's going on here. So as I said, I primarily play horror games. That's most of what we do over here. But it's also June. June is Pride Month. So I have a very small list of games that we are playing through for the season. That are a little cross section of games with queer representation and horror. We're playing gay horror games. Last week we played through Signalis for the first time. I know that game has been out for a while. I had never played it. It was an incredible experience, but we finished it. So today we're getting into a new game. This one is called Project Songbird. I know extremely little about it. I know that it is one that is dear to our lovely MIDI Rose. But due to both the excitement Rose had for it and the fact that I had an interest in it, I remained as unspoiled as I could. So I really genuinely do not know a lot about it. I know that the queer representation for this one is in the form of the protagonist being a non-binary character. Non-binary characters seldom appearing in media in general, let alone as the protagonist of an entire game. So that was a cool one, especially as an NB. I was like, well, it just makes sense to play a game that has that representation, you know. So kind of the only warnings I can really offer. We are still on the content warning screen, so I'll pull this back up just as a general overview of some themes that may appear in the game. If any of these are immediately distressing to anybody, don't put yourself through it. Just don't do that to yourself. I understand if you read any of those and need to leave. There's never any offense with that. The other one that is already in my pinned message, just photosensitivity. Horror games as a whole tend to be photosensitivity nightmares. A lot of them lean into like flashing effects, rapid changes in screen contrast and things like that, just because like intense situations are amplified by intense visuals, right? Obviously that can be problematic for people who are sensitive to that. But as a secondary, it is also a first-person game that I'm playing with a mouse and keyboard, and I tend to have a little bit of a frenetic control over the camera when I'm playing with a mouse. That comes from years and years of playing shooters with a very high DPI. I whip the camera around like an absolute fucking idiot. So, if you're prone to motion sickness, that is also a little bit of a stressor. It's just lots of warnings. Just take care of yourself. If anything starts to make you feel uneasy, or if you start feeling physically unwell, don't look at the screen anymore. Just take a break. Please. Take care of yourself. It's very important. Nothing is worth making yourself that sick over. With that out of the way, we're getting it. Optionally playable vinyl records. Okay. Contain full licensed songs from real artists. Okay. Heard. Heard. Probably don't listen to the records. Aye, aye. Little autosave. But no, yes. Amy, I'm very glad you had fun with the updated content. It is exciting how much stronger the Switch 2 is. It's allowing for some really impressive things coming across on a Nintendo system, so. Can't comment. No, that's fair. If they're not... Okay, can probably turn the game back down a little bit. If they're not super integral to the overall game experience, then I can revisit them in my own time. It's not quite the same as like a Death Stranding situation where you just are playing the game and suddenly you get a pullback cinematic with a song playing. You know? A little bit different. One of the songs is the dev's own band? Okay. So that one's probably, theoretically,
Okay.
good to go.
Take 27.
When I found you, 10 toes off the ground, it was hard to fight the feeling that you wouldn't be around. Oh my, never been so far from... Fuck. Never been so far from you. I stare into that portrait. I really... Okay. When I found you, 10 toes off the ground, it was hard to...
Okay, let's start again. Take 28.
Yeah. Very much mood. I don't really do anything music-wise, but I understand that starting over and over and over because it's just not clicking. Yeah, no, new content for the currently existing Xenoblade games is a really fun shake-up. Oh, sorry. My whole desk started vibrating and I was like, what the fuck is happening? My controller. It's my controller.
Fuck. The same dream again. Always the same dream. Oh, shit.
Hey, Dakota. I'm just giving you a quick call to say I got your track from last night, and, yeah, just, call me back when you got a minute, alright? Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, God, this is gonna be a fun talk. I'll call Rob back in a minute. I should probably wake up a bit before getting into a conversation like that.
Alright. I'm gonna unplug my controller. I wanted to wait for the dialogue to finish first, just in case it, like, fucks anything. It probably won't. It's gonna be such a non-issue. There. That's the wrong button. There. Non-issue. We're fine. But just in case that, like, crash the game or something. Because it wouldn't be the first time I've had stuff like that happen, so. Would gently put my guitar down and walk away. No, I have tried to learn guitar a little bit. I do still want to. It's been a long time since I've picked it up and put actual effort into it. But I also very much get like that pretty quick. Just like, especially as someone who plays rhythm games. I was learning guitar mostly through like Rocksmith, right? Because I'm terrible at following lessons and I'm terrible at doing basic exercises just of my own volition. So video game it, right? Gamify the whole process by playing a lesson tool that is basically just a video game. It made sense. But it quickly went from like the basic lessons being too easy to the slightly less basic lessons being too hard. And just that skill gap. My brain could process what I was supposed to do, but I couldn't translate it to my fingers fast enough, and I would get frustrated with that very quickly. I hate it when I can see what I'm supposed to do, but can't physically do it, despite knowing how, or feeling like I should know how. It gets me so immediately tilted. But I do still very much want to get back into the practice of it.
We were so young. Dad had to break up our dumb little arguments constantly.
This is probably going to be a slow burn, by the way. I am going to look at, like, fucking everything, so.
First instrument I ever learned. Dad tried to show me a thing or two, but I pretty much learned on my own.
Was rhythm? Hated your metronome. No, there's nothing wrong with, having a little bit of timing aid. A wasp? Okay, let me deal with that really quick. One sec. Just enjoy this backing track, it's very chill. Ran it outside. All is well. Can I look at this?
Well, at least there's evidence that I have the ability to write good music.
Fair enough, fair enough. What happened? Just a wasp. Yeah, real wasp. Just one got inside. We put our AC unit into the window the other day. But it's not quite, like, it doesn't quite fit our window. So while it's mostly sealed, it's not completely sealed, you know? And I was worried about bugs getting in, and sure enough, the first one of note to get in is a wasp, so shocker. Tupper damsel in Tupper distress, All is well. Paper around the open gaps for right now. Yeah, that's fine. Hopefully that'll do for now.
We'll be able to make something good soon. Pinky promise.
Drums too. Doing it all yourself is fucking rough. No wonder you're in a rut. Like, you've got guitars, you have a bass, you have the drums in the closet, you've got keys here, you're singing. Like, good fucking lord. There's an ocarina, like... No wonder you're having a hard time.
God, Dad would have flipped if he saw me with this. I really should quit.
Do quite enjoy. It's like
Never gets easier to look at.
loose abstract styles. Portraits as an abstract are really, and cello? Cello, no, that's a whole ass bass.
I
That's
should get
way
back
too
to
big for a
playing
cello.
more. Sort of fallen out of it recently.
That's a whole ass fucking bass. Not enough music utilizes stand-up bass anymore.
This thing makes me feel like such a hipster. But I just can't get over that old school film look.
It's not just the look. The old school film camera, having to reel your own fucking film, nothing quite hits like reeling it with the little thumb reel and then just like the chunky snap of an actual shutter. The whole thing is so tactile that I really, really cannot understate, or I can't overstate the importance of getting into film as a photographer. Tacos and Coke Zero. Just have some towels into the gap for hours. No, yeah, that's fair. Towel could work. We could get some little towels just for that too, Tupper. Your greed cheeses me. I have cheese too. opening it wrong and fucking up your whole roll. If you close it again quick enough, shoot the roll anyway. And just see what happens. The whole thing becomes abstract at that point. If you've already shot the whole roll, just develop it, see what happens. You know, it's all part of the fun. Art comes with... Rat, I am a professionally trained photographer. It's not always cooked. I went to school for this. Most of it's probably fucked. Something could still come out really cool. Yes, for real. I have a degree in photography. That's how we met, Tupper and I. We met in photography school. Most of the roll, yeah, it's probably fucked. But you never know. You never know. Art is art, and something might come out elevated as a result of that funky exposure it got hit with. You'll have the vibe. When was this brewed? Are you drinking this from last night, or did that... This looks too old to have a timer. Was this just sitting on a burner all night? This is cooked coffee. Can I just chug it? I'm just gonna keep walking around. Sucking back coffee while navigating.
Definitely an impulse purchase. But, admittedly, not one that I regret.
That's fair. Have a nice shit. Everyone deserves to have a nice shit. Well, there is a crouch mechanic. I mean, it is a horror game. That shouldn't be surprising. Just want to make sure. Yeah, that'd be fun. Can send you a little bit of our stuff too. Admittedly, I haven't personally shot anything in years. I mean, I've talked about getting burnt out on existing more than once. I basically went straight out of college into working 3 jobs. Or it was 2 jobs for me and 3 jobs for Tupper. Unironically, I don't sit here sipping it like this. But if I have a full, large cup of filter coffee like this, there are times where I will just walk around holding it to my mouth so that I can, like, blow on it a little bit. Just, like, try and cool it off if it's freshly out of the carafe. So
Gone through a few more of these than I'd like to admit.
I do honestly walk around with my cup to my mouth like that. Not actually drinking, but I just hold it there. King beer. Yeah, I can try to dig up some of our old stuff. Haven't touched a camera in years either. Yeah. Feels like a commitment I don't have in me. Part of it... well, I can't speak for Tupper, but a small part of it for me was the barriers in that film has the development barrier. Where we live, things are pretty small. The closest place I can send film to be developed for me that I know won't just straight fuck it up is in Toronto. So I have to ship all of my exposed film away to get it developed. I don't really want to do that. A huge part of our schooling was learning film. So I would need a little bit of a refresher, but I know how to develop film. The other thing is, development chemical is extremely hard to acquire, because it is technically classified as a hazardous material. You can't ship it in Canada outside of some very select specific circumstances. I'm not an establishment like a school that can get it shipped to my abode. So there isn't really a way for me to easily obtain development chemical. So film is kind of out of the question, unless I want to trust one of the shitty local development places that have a reputation for absolutely destroying people's film or shipping it way out of province.
And melodramatic take on grief that only scratches the mere surface of. Ugh, just say it's bad if you didn't like it. Pretentious prick.
Fair.
Could probably recite this song review by heart at this point. Maybe they're right, though.
Oh no. Critics don't know shit. The other barrier is obviously a much larger part of modern photography school is digital. But obviously the largest editing software, like post-processing softwares, are through Adobe, whom I have entirely divorced. So, you know, I can... I need to take the time to sit down and look at alternatives. And I just haven't done that because I haven't been shooting. So it's kind of at this point, it's a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not shooting because I don't have a way to edit, and I'm not finding a way to edit because I'm not shooting. Right? I've created an Ouroboros. And getting over that has been difficult as well. So.
Best way to get around Pittsburgh with how bad the driving gets.
Fair. Fucking fair. Streamer teaches chat how to develop their own film. I have no idea how I would even show that, honestly. Because it would very much be like a bathroom, dark room situation.
Maybe I should call Rob back.
Alright, ads are coming soon, so we'll get this call. And then go to ad, I guess.
Hello?
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Dakota. Sorry, did I catch you while you were sleeping?
Yeah.
I really should expect that by now, yeah? That's on me.
No, it's fine. I just need to get my sleep schedule back on track. How's Janine doing? How are the kids?
You mean Janelle?
Shit, sorry. Yeah. I used to date this girl named Janine, and now I just swapped the names on accident in my head, and
Hey, it's all good. Janelle and the kids are fine. Listen, wanted to call you about that song you sent me last night.
Yeah, I figured.
You know, we talked about this, Dakota. This isn't what your fans want.
But it's what I want.
I know it is, I know. Listen, I think it sounds fine, but Dakota, you're a fucking neon songbird. You have to admit that this is a stark change in sound.
It is, Rob. I know, this is the music that I need to make right now. If I just keep trying at doing things a bit differently, then maybe people will come around.
We've tried. You know we've tried, Dakota, but this won't sell. Your past few singles have been tanking because your fans aren't taking to this new direction. They want the bass grooves, they want the synth leads. Critics haven't exactly been kind either. If you keep pushing it in their faces, it'll foster resentment.
What do you want me to do? I can't write anything else. The old stuff just isn't in me anymore. I'm sorry.
I know what happened was awful.
Rob, don't.
I know it was awful. And you know you have my condolences and my family's condolences. I've tried to be there for you as a friend as much as I could, but I mean, we're losing money. You're already 2 months late on your album contract, and
I know! I'm late on the fucking contract!
I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, I hate to keep bringing it up, but God, the label needs the money, and this sound isn't selling.
So what do you want me to do?
I mean, okay, I have an idea, if you're up for it, but it might be a lot.
I'm listening.
So, my friend Don has this log cabin about 2.5 hours south down in West Virginia. Now, I've never been there myself, but I've heard a lot of stories of musicians retreating away for a bit to get out of their element, be around nature, and these guys come out of it having written the best music of their lives. I just thought that maybe if you were willing, I'll give you the directions and I'll give the guy notice that you could be staying all next month. I don't know. I just thought maybe you'd like to take the time away to get an album out. A new classic Neon Songbird album. If you can come out of this trip with at least 10 tracks we can sell, I'll call it a win. Now the place isn't exactly 5-star. You'll be living a bit off the grid, but I don't know. You can show everyone that you've still got it. What do you say?
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
It would be a rough conversation to have. Pulled in two directions between trying to support your artist, but also having the label breathing down your fucking throat.
Just one more box. I'll carry it up to the cabin and then get settled in.
Before we do that, we have to deal with that ad break. So, we're going to pause for a minute. So nothing gets missed. I'm going to go do a quick stretch. I recommend everyone do the same. And I will be back shortly. Do some self-care. See you in a minute. little self-care. Allow me to appreciate game details differently. Yeah, that's so fair. Picked up on something from the phone conversation. See, that's fun, right? It's just playing and viewing are completely different experiences. And I do find very generally even if it's a game I'm familiar with, I catch things of note if I'm watching instead of playing. Because you're not focused on the same things, right? You've freed up a little bit of mental bandwidth by not having to navigate for yourself. Not having to deal with any of the obstacles for yourself. Like, kind of unburdening yourself with the actual gameplay aspect of playing a game. Of experiencing a game, I guess. Lets you catch so many other little things that you are just quite literally incapable of catching while playing because you're too focused on what you need to be focused on. Which isn't to say it's impossible to catch the smaller things, but oftentimes taking the time to catch those results in getting killed, having to do segments over again, or missing actually important details to progress. It's just fun. It's a completely different thing, right? Games are just fun. Games are neat. All right. All right. We will resume then. Unironically, I really do. I've gone on the rant so many times. Just like video games are a culmination of so many different types of art. And I love art in general, right? Like I love writing and storytelling. I love cinematic experiences. I love so many different kinds of visual art. I love music. And video games really are kind of all of that and more wrapped up in a package that you navigate through. It's just wild. It's wild that people are making these things and then presenting them to us to experience. It very, very, like, I very genuinely believe that is why I have such a hard time, like, hating a game or calling any games definitively bad. Because it's so easy for me to look at everything and just kind of step back and think about all of the effort that went into making that thing happen. Even when shit hit the fan and the thing was not completed in the way that the original vision might have wanted it to be. I mean, like, everything comes back to fucking Silent Hill, right? The best example is the Western developed Silent Hill games. Like, people are lukewarm on Silent Hill Origin. People have a mostly okay opinion of Shattered Memories. But a lot of Silent Hill fans largely despise Homecoming and generally dislike Downpour. And I really don't think that's fair to those games at all. Having played them and enjoyed them, I can look at them and be like, these were absolutely fucked by bullshit deadlines from a bastard publishing company. But they're not bad games. They're imperfect games, but what the fuck is art if not imperfect, right? I don't really think there's anything more human than a janky video game. I am gonna lower these though. Shadows are probably fucking me. Just, it runs really well until it doesn't. I don't know what any of this does. Denoise quality, okay. We'll just see how that goes. There should be more games. Well, have I got news for you? Bringing them up in this context, that does remind me that we have actual plans to play through Homecoming and Downpour this year as well. I think that's going to be fun. Might be a little bit of a shit show. Because again, they're imperfect games. They're very much imperfect games. There are glaring flaws in both of them. And I'm sure I will rant about those while we play them. But if I think back on a game that I've played and can only really muster I can really only think about cool things that I liked about the games for the most part. That's probably a good thing, right? I'm sure I'm gonna get to explore all this after I put the box down, but like, I am just kind of enjoying staring at everything. Pills in like a little outside cabinet is a little disconcerting. Hey there. Rob told me you'd be staying at the cabin for a bit. I cleaned up the place real good for you, and I hope you have a good time trying to make your music. All I ask is you don't go snooping around my personal things and don't go wandering off too far. Don't want you going out and hurting yourself or nothing. Forests like this can be dangerous, especially at night. Also, try your best to clean up before you leave. Hope you have a good time. Flowers are beautiful this time of year. Dawn. Thank you, Dawn. I feel like it'd be really difficult to get like a good, proper wind chime effect. The fact that that's just there vibing like that is honestly kind of really impressive.
Alright, that's the last of it. I should get a lay of the land.
Good freaking point. They're so like shrill and sharp. And like that didn't have any clearly defined looping that I could hear anyway. Oh, let's go. Fucking love a mocha pot, man. That one feels big for one person, but hey, I'm not here to judge. Zoom in, I see. Do not cross. Pump house. Okay, okay. Where did I come from? It would have been down there. I tried to go to the pump house and it would not let me. I did not go this way, but I saw that path. I did not go here. Listen, look, I know it says do not cross on this pathway, but what if I take this more roundabout route? You didn't tell me not to go that way. You know?
Dawn must have left this for me. Don't really need it right now, though.
Classic pocket flashlight. This is the shit you see all the survival horror girlies carrying around in their fucking breast pocket. And by survival horror girlies, I mean all the sad dads and weirdo dudes. Mostly Harry and James, honestly.
Cheryl is somewhere and she needs
Yeah.
my help.
That guy's got one of those.
No service. Rob wasn't lying. This place is definitely off the grid. It's a bit chilly out, but that breeze feels so nice in the sun. Crossing my fingers that the spring showers hold off.
I feel that. Giving Evil Dead cabin. You know, most cabins tend to kind of just have a vibe, don't they? Oh, yeah, it's boarded up too. Okay.
Boarded up. The wood looks old, though. I bet it'd break easily.
Already planning to be a little shit disturber, huh? X to quick turn? Oh, don't you worry. My fucking mouse sensitivity, I got quick turns. You don't gotta worry about me. Ooh. Trigger your camera flash. Okay. Like, despite being a photographer, I don't really tend to fuck with in-game photo modes or anything like that. I don't know why. I just have a harder time getting into the compositional headspace when I can't, like, physically move around the environment with my own body, if that makes sense.
Sun's going down. I should chop up some firewood before it gets too cold.
I do quite like the tone of the sun coming in over this cabin. Just like, where's the angle? The trees are in the way. What's the shot? Kind of fixated on this window being presented as well. I don't know why. What are you looking at? Obviously, I can't actually control the camera outside of shooting. Aim and shoot, but... Number key also work. Okay, thank you. Pictures can be viewed in the cabin. Funny enough, I didn't really do much in the way of like landscape stuff. There was a little bit of a... It wasn't the only thing we shot, but there was a little bit of a portrait emphasis in school. Just because it was like... It was a practical arts program, sure, but it did have like kind of the focus on trying to set you up for a career. And obviously, portraiture is a very large part of photography as a job, so.
Strange.
Strange indeed. Radio tower. If I make a note of that real quick. I like that the bottom one looks like a little dude. Got two eyes with his little eyebrows and then a nose over his mouth. A little smiley mouth. Can't see it, I can't help you. He's just chilling there. A little smiley dude having a great time.
Doesn't look like this radio works. Dad, Dad taught me how to do this years ago. Let's see if I remember.
Easy.
Oh, hell yeah. Just like riding a bike.
It would be cathartic, I think. Come out here with all your pent-up rage and trauma and just chop wood.
Okay. Just one more. Fuck. I just need to start with a decent scratch track. Guitar, bass, drums, and keyboard.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not going to give them too hard of a time on putting my single lens reflex film photo on a Polaroid. But hey, it is a video game. They need to present the little collectible somehow. I'll give them that.
Bass always was my strong suit.
Funky slap.
Alright, yeah. That's a good place to start. What's next? Need a good rhythm guitar.
Little funk rhythm over the fuzzy bass.
Okay. Those two may not mesh perfectly.
Oh, come on now.
I'm sure it'll come together. Now what's next?
Let me live.
Gonna need to lock a decent drum groove.
Probably a little simple rock, huh? I want to say breakbeat, but with those two previous choices, probably not. Oh no, that's not the one. Never mind. Simple rock was significantly simpler rock than I've ever been into and didn't even cross my mind.
Okay. It's a bit out of place, but maybe people will just think it's experimental. One more instrument.
No, I'm already in agreement with them. This is fucked. We haven't even heard it, and I'm like, nah, you're right. You're right, Dakota. It's not working. Jazzy chords. Let's just fuck it all the way up.
Okay, maybe it's not so bad. Let's check the video and see how it turned out.
I don't know if I want to.
Okay. Here goes nothing.
It's a little dissonant, but it's not nearly as bad as what I thought.
Fuck! That is not good. I don't know how I am going to create anything if I keep recording bullshit like this. Okay, you know what? Maybe I just need to go for a walk. Clear my head. Then I'll get back to recording.
So we're going for a little walk. Got to share the credit for the mass. Hey, you know, that's a brilliant idea, and I probably should have. That also didn't cross my mind. Hearing the pieces separately, I wasn't convinced they'd come together, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I deliberately listen to music that sounds a lot worse than that, so. To be fair. Much better than how mine turned out. Well, that's okay. Probably, I mean, like, if everyone was weighing in, definitely a little bit of a too many cooks situation, right? Oh. Okay, cool. We can recap that when we come back on Friday. This place is in great shape. Do I still have the axe? I do. Sorry for trespassing. Sometimes, when the water ain't being used for a while, it comes out all nasty like sludge. This is easy to fix, just needs a filter change. I'm writing these instructions for anyone renting out the place that needs to fix it up. Here's what you do. Shut off the water supply, take out the old filter, replace it with the new filter. I always keep one behind the cabin. I did already pick that up. Turn the valves clockwise to calibrate the new filter. You have to turn them 7 times in a particular order, but I made a little code to help me remember. I wrote it at the bottom of the page. Okay. If you do everything right, the water should be running all through the pipes. If you ain't hear it, then you just need to turn the water back off and try twisting them valves again. Sure. Illegible. Uh-oh. Huh? Upgrade? Oh. Yeah, okay. That's... Oh, sorry. Free monkey wrench. More scrap. Interesting. 1 3 2 5 6.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't mess with these if I don't have to.
Fair enough. I guess it doesn't suck yet, but it's going to suck at some point. And I'll have to change them. Did that, or do I just... I see. Okay.
Yeah, this will make a great rhythmic sample.
I thought like I was choosing how long the sample was, which is why I stopped in the middle of that. But no. No, it's a video game.
What's this doing in the middle of the woods? Not like I can get through it to find out.
You could get over that. It's just a little barbed wire. Oh, 2 for 1. Okay.
What's a huge radio tower like that doing in a place like this? I never was too put off by heights. I can't get the cover open. Looks like it's screwed on.
Something with a radio tower. At some point. It is just a really pretty game, right? You can't tell me that's not, like, immediately. Such, like, a nothing fucking photo that... Oh, man. My specialization is, like... abstract artistic macro. Like... if anybody is going to take, like... just wanky, artsy photo bullshit, it's probably gonna be me. What if I want to explore the up? Sorry, that hurt my own eyes.
Looks like an old diesel truck. It's seen better days.
Yeah. Might be a bit of an understatement. Just a little bit. Illegal.
Fuck. Getting this album done is gonna be like pulling teeth.
Perfectly safe to drive. Exactly. Past inspection, flying colors. No questions, no notes. Uh-huh. That's not ominous at all.
Looks like this leads to some sort of church. The gate's locked, but that padlock looks super weak and rusty.
Say no more. Really? This is the universal padlock. Looks like it could break at any moment. Fine.
There's something about flowing water that's just so soothing. This will make great ambiance.
It's true. It's true. Just white noise. White noise in general is usually really good. As just like a textural thing. You can have something that's kind of just an ambient little white noise that you can lay in the background. Subtle enough that no one really takes note of it, but not so subtle that it disappears. You get some good shit.
Wait, what is that under the tree?
Oh, they insisted that they didn't need that flashlight, but we found a little cave. that is ominous, huh?
How the hell? This looks like... What the hell was that? It sounded like it came from back at the cabin.
Huh? Before we go back, I do want to see what was here.
Wow, these flowers are gorgeous. If I knew there was nature like this, I would have come to West Virginia a hell of a lot sooner.
Just like, is there a way to present this in a way that's actually nice? Be super limited. See, in a perfect world, I'd be able to get even closer to them. There's not really a subject. No real focal point to lock in on. If something was here, you'd have all these flowers occupying most of the frame. Then you'd have a little focal point to fixate on. It's not just a rock, you know? Seeing the vision? But alas, what we get is a rock. So...
Oh, holy hell, that's bad.
That's fair. Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Nobody's here. Fuck! Did some kind of animal get in? Damn it, I must have left the door opened.
No, I definitely
I'm not
closed it.
careful about that unless I'm trying to become bear food. Anyway, it's getting dark. I should get some clean water before bed. There should be a spigot somewhere around here.
I definitely 100% closed it. I made a point to do so.
I can't do that. I need something to catch the water.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There are bottles right here. Nah, just painkillers. Okay. Okay.
Dawn must have left this for me. Don't really need it right now, though.
Mm-mm.
The hose is tied down with a cable tie. I'd need a really fine blade to cut it.
I just need a vessel. A vessel for liquid. Bucket. Bucket. That'll do.
Good! Jesus, it's foul. I still have a little bit of bottled water with me, so whatever's causing that is a problem for tomorrow. I need to get back to work anyways.
That is pretty intense. Just straight goo. A little extreme.
When I found you, 10 toes off the ground, it was hard to fight the feeling that you would.
What the hell is that? I need to go see what that is. It's too dark out, though. It's out of batteries.
I have to assume the batteries deplete.
Damn crows.
not a horror game without goo somewhere. Hey. Yeah, I can't really refute that, huh? Some kind of goo somewhere.
First thing on the itinerary today. Get that water situation fixed. There's bound to be something I can do in the pump house to get it working.
Alright. We do have all the pieces for the pump house puzzle. But I think for tonight I need to behave and actually try and get some sleep. I'm feeling the heaviness in my eyelids take over. The last thing I want when I'm trying to appreciate a game like this is to start dozing off, so. Especially while live, that feels like it'd be... Don't nod off while you're live. That's inadvisable. Oh, that third one looks like a whole lot of nothing. What happened there? Alright. Saved one, yeah, it's fine. It would have saved for day 3. Yes, it's okay. Because we are really close to ads being a problem. I'm going to go shut those off while we sit here for a minute. Kind of figure out what's going down. It's been a minute since I've done this. There we go. There we go. We can throw this back on. Hell yeah. There it is. No, it's a lie. I shut them off. Shut up. They don't exist right now. Quit lying. No, I'm in. I'm in. It's very, very intriguing so far. The overarching theme is at least heavily implied right now. Obviously, things could shift, subvert expectation and all that, but if it doesn't, it's being gentle but not really subtle about the story it's trying to tell, right? And if it's just off the top presenting that, I do anticipate things getting notably heavy as we get into the thick of it. You can tell it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit a chord. So, but obviously we will unravel that thread Friday. Yeah. Yeah. For now, I do think I just need to try and get some sleep. I've been sleeping very poorly. And I'm very tired as a result, so. Just begs the question of where are we going to go? Looking forward to it, so am I, honestly. Very good shout. to offer this one up. Because again, even just for the representation of the month, having a non-binary character is a bit of a rarity. To couple it with a horror game, which is on theme for this space, obviously, as well as one that is obviously so immediately artistically driven. I think it's going to be a really good time. But I mean, you know, considering the implied story so far, good time. But I think we will enjoy the journey, if you will. Where am I at? Where are we going? What am I doing? That might be the one. That might be the one for tonight. Okay. No, as stated, I do anticipate being able to finish this up Friday. If for some reason that doesn't occur, it definitely will not take us a significant amount of Saturday to see it through. So if necessary, we'll finish it up Saturday at the beginning of stream and then carry on to the first one of these games in this sequence that I have actually played, but it's been a hot minute. But it's such a little darling game that I'm excited to play it again and kind of geek out about it. The game that I am expecting to play Saturday is Fear the Spotlight, which is just it's just a cute little game, honestly, which I know is weird to say about a horror game, but you'll understand. If you're here for it, you'll get it. You'll know. When you know, you'll know. But it's such a fun little one for a handful of reasons. One of said reasons, without like getting into spoilery stuff, this detail is easy to talk about. It was the first game to launch under Blumhouse's gaming publishing endeavors after they announced that they were going to take on a publishing role for video games, which immediately caught my attention because they are kind of known for supporting much smaller scale horror cinema projects that might not necessarily have the network or budget to come about otherwise. They're always very like they push interesting projects, right? They always have. They've had a focus on allowing artists to kind of make something. And they've got a pretty good track record in their film history for that. So I was pretty drawn to the idea of them getting into games, and so far it's been an adventure if you look at their release catalog so far. Like, it's all horror, but no two games at this point have been alike, which is interesting. Interesting and fun. But Fear the Spotlight was the first. Also a first-time horror endeavor from the developer, who are with a horror game under their belt that is as competent as it is. They're kind of ironically named Cozy Game Pals. So, but their first couple games definitely seem a lot cozier. So love that every game is a different style. Exactly, right? Something for everyone in their catalog already, literally. They have, let me go back under. They started with Fear the Spotlight, which is an honestly approachable little survival horror experience, drawing from classics in the genre. Then they had... First came Eyes of Hellfire, which I honestly don't know a lot about. The store page describes it as a co-op gothic horror game inspired by tabletop games, but with a twist. The insidious host can manipulate your sense of reality. Currently, that one's early access, but it exists. Yeah, I don't know a lot about that one. I know Rose also played Sleep Awake. I have not played that one yet. But that one was a fascinating, more so cinematic kind of experience from what I was able to watch. Again, it's another one that I would like to play for myself at some point, so I couldn't watch too close. But fascinating little project, to say the least. Built around the concept of staying awake at any cost, because if you sleep, you disappear. And then the most recent was a release this year that seemed kind of like a BioShock vibed first-person shooter called Creasol. Creasol Theater of Idols. I haven't been following that one too close because it is another one that I'd kind of like to play. But I did play the demo for that, and it was a fun experience from what I was able to get into. That one is essentially your weaponry is fueled by your own blood. So there's this balancing act with the combat mechanic that is sacrificing your own health in order to fire your weapons. So you have to be pretty conscious of the balance between your health and supplied ammunition. Because you can just reload yourself to death, as far as I could tell. Reload your weapon with too little health, and that's the end of it all. So, how's it going? See you later. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You got it. Hello, Walkie. I assume you've been busy if you're just tuning in now, but I hope you've been well. And then the next big one that I know a lot of people are fucking stoked for Also coming from Bloomhouse, Grave Seasons. That one's not in a genre that I'm particularly drawn to, but I know, like, I'm curious about it because of how many people are interested in it. It's still probably not one that I'll play, but I'm very excited to get to see that one as people get their hands on it. So that one's like just cozy little farm sim, except not. Except not. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that was a very rambly way of discussing the plans for this week. um, discussing the plans for this week with a major digression. And then we'll have to gauge how I'm feeling physically. But if I'm completely over whatever this ailment is next week, we'll get into another playthrough of Sorry We're Closed. I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do for that one. I'm probably going to have to look up a guide just to make sure that I do it correctly. But we love Sorry We're Closed. That one easily left that one for the end because it is easily the queerest game on the whole list. It is nothing but representation. Are you winning? I think so. I think so. I'm getting ready for bed mostly, but we just started getting into the meat of Project Songbird. Teeny tiny little taste so far. But being that I do only definitively have the 4 titles planned for the month, if I'm not feeling well enough to get into the voice acting endeavor that I put upon myself for Sorry We're Closed, I'll find some way to fill out next week as kind of just a filler before resuming the following week. We'll cross that bridge only if required. I've got tons of games that I could play. It would just be nice if they were still at least a little bit thematic for Pride Month, but it'll be what it is, you know? Also, if I didn't say it, I hope you're well, Chaos. I definitely thought it, but I don't know if I verbalized it. The brain fog is real, so I apologize if I didn't. But yes. I don't imagine there's a significant amount of time left on her stream, but I think we're gonna go say hi to Real again. Because Real is still playing Secret of Mana. And I've been enjoying just chilling, vibing with that one, so if you will join me, I will get the raid started in that direction. And I'll be back Friday, hopefully more rested. As you can probably tell, despite the yapping, I haven't really had to mute to cough. I can feel it. It's like sitting right here, but it's not forcing its way out of me this time. So hopefully by Friday it is like mostly gone, and then Saturday we're back. Usually my immune system is way better than this, but if we can get over it before Sorry We're Closed, that's honestly all I can really ask for. So till then, I hope that you all have wonderful, lovely, beautiful nights. If it is night for you, have a wonderful day if you're still in the throes of it. I know it's the middle of the week, so many of you probably still have work to get through. You can make it. You can make it to Friday. I have faith. And if you work weekends, you can make it to whatever your next day off is. You got this. You're strong. You got this, I promise. We're all here. We're all here. We're all in it. We're all supporting each other. That's all we can do. I'm going to stop yapping. So I'll just keep rambling in circles. So thank you for joining me. Appreciate you all. Thank you again, Amy, earlier for the raid. It's always lovely when you pop over with your folks. I'm sure at this point you're very probably in bed, but I'm sending the vibes your way anyway. We'll be back Friday, y'all. Take it easy. Until then. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Appreciate you all.